know, I was working out. I think I have a bit of an addiction to ginger because I always have ginger root in the house, powdered ginger, and you know, just for good measure, just in case I run out. I also have frozen ginger. Yeah, I eat a lot of ginger, but it tastes so good. Hello homebrewers, welcome, hope you're having a fantastic one. So it has been a very long time since I've done anything with the old ginger. I mean, the last thing I made was the bread yeast ginger beer, and that was a couple of years ago. I have been playing around with ginger in my spare time, but it's time to do a new video, because the last one was a bread yeast and this one's not. So if you haven't seen that video and want to, I will stick it in the description below, so well, you can watch that one. And we're going to have some fun. Now, the idea is to make a ginger beer on steroids. Oh yes, so instead of making it about 5%, we are aiming for the 13% mark, which is pretty strong. Now, you can drink it on its own, or the planned intention for this video is to be mixed with lemonade, because, well, lemonade is tasty. Now, this is the idea is that it's going to skip the carbonation step, so we won't need to carbonate it. That's another, you know, couple of weeks for carbonation. We also don't need to back sweeten it because the lemonade is going to have all the sweeteny sugar goodness in it. So it's basically a case of brew and done. So it should take 1 month to brew this alcohol, approximately. So our first step is to peel the ginger. Now, from previous attempts, because I always forget and then remember halfway through, it's easier just to take a blunt object like a spoon and then just scrape the skin. This way you remove the fleshy, skinny goodness without actually removing hardly any of the actual flesh, whereas cutting it or peeling it is going to remove quite a lot. And I love the smell of fresh ginger. I just love it. It tastes better than powdered, but oh, so good. Anyway, I'm going to go and peel this ginger, so I'll be right back. So it didn't take very long, and we now have our peeled ginger. We still got a couple of bits of the skin on. Doesn't matter so much. It's just I found that the skin in brewing kind of gives a weird flavour. But this ginger smells fantastic. I think I got 2 different kinds. This one smells like there was 2 that looked distinctly. One was more knobbly, the other one was more bulbous. The bulbous one smells fresh and gingery, but the other one kind of has a lemony hue to it, so who knows? Got it from the same place at the same time. So we can save this stuff and make ginger tea out of it if you like, but we need to cut this up, and the easiest way is to use a potato peeler, because we want to extract as much of this flavour as possible. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to finely slice this ginger. Oh, to release all the gingery goodness. So I switched out the peeler for the old cheese grater, because as much as I normally use the peeler, I'm normally only doing a small quantity to make like ginger tea or slicing it fine to add into curries and whatnot. So, well, that will work. The grater is so much quicker. So what I've got is, the next thing on our agenda is some lemons. Now these are unwaxed, like wonky, cheap lemons. They're cheap. So I'm just going to zest these bad boys, because, well, most of the flavour that we're going to get comes from the zest. And I'm going to use the cheese grater again on the old fine setting and zest these lemons. So our lemons have now been zested, and I tried to make sure to get as minimal amount of the pith as possible, the white stuff, because that is bitter and we don't really want that. So all our prep is now done. So I've got myself a lovely pan with a lid, and we're now going to steep this like a tea, since it's all really, really fine. So in the pan it goes. You will have noticed at this point nothing has been sterilized, because, well, it's just clean. Mainly because we're going to be using the old kettle with boiling water to do a lot of the sterilizing and sanitizing for us. So it's not necessary. So whoop. Now we're going to add in the jus of the lime. I've got myself just a, what do you call them? Sieve, that's the word. Just to catch the pips. And I'm just going to squeeze in our lemon juice. Citrus. And we're going to make ourselves a simple tea. The amount of water you add in currently isn't that important, as long as it is not over a gallon. So in goes more of a lemon jus. Let's just talk about the steeping process. So as you will have noticed, I didn't boil it. Instead, I chose to grate and slice it stupidly fine to make a basic tea infusion. Over the years when I've been playing with ginger, I've noticed that you kind of destroy a lot of the sort of complex flavors. I mean, powdered ginger, it tastes gingery, but you don't really get that taste that you do from fresh ginger. Sort of, it's missing something. And I've noticed heavily boiling your ginger takes away that, takes away the sort of other flavors, and you just get the heat. Whereas what I'm currently doing, the steeping process, that smells good. It smells really lemony. I've got a little bit of something else, which is ginger, but it doesn't smell spicy and fiery. Now, the longer you leave this to steep, the stronger ginger it's going to taste. So I'm just going to let this go cold, and that will be our ginger tea, which is simple. Originally I was going to leave this for 20 minutes, and well, I got to the 20-minute mark, and yeah, it just didn't really have anything going for it. So instead I have left it for 48 hours. That is, yeah, that is how long I left it for. Now 24 would have been plenty, but I just wanted to see if there would be any difference from the longest steeping time. Since we're not brewing on the pulp, I left it for longer. So let's take a look and let's see what we've got now. Oh yeah. So it is a lot different than it was before. Before it was sort of like a mild tea. Now it has a really lemony aroma. The ginger is in there. It's still fresh. It is gingery. It smells amazing. I wouldn't have got that if I didn't leave it for at least 24 hours. Because we're not brewing on the pulp. As well, you know, the longer you spend steeping, the better the flavors. So let's finish this up, because I like ginger. So, as you may have noticed, nothing is sterilized. Currently, it's all been cleaned, but it's not sterilized. We're going to sort that out shortly. So again, I have got a bowl. I've got my funnel. None of this is sterilized. And I got a strainer. So let's just strain off our jus into the pan. Into the bowl. So I have strained off our lovely ginger tea. I've removed lots of the bits since we're going to be brewing this in a demijohn, and I squeezed the bejesus out of this just to make sure I extracted all of that flavor that we can. So I'm going to sterilize this with heat. So I'm going to take the opportunity to also add in our sugars. It's a lot easier to dissolve sugar into a hot solution than a cold, as well you know. So in this bad boy goes. It smells so good. I just want to drink it. I'm not going to, but I can. I could quite easily. So on this goes to heat. And at the same time, I'm going to be adding in our sugars. Now, I'm going to be adding in 1 kilo of sugar. This is going to make it the minimum of 11%. I'm also going to be adding in some treacle. Now, in our case, I have got 300 grams of the dark treacle, because this one's actually empty. But I like the cans. They don't make these very much anymore. So I'm going to add in our sugars now and take this opportunity to now go and sterilize everything while I'm waiting for this to heat up. So I've got my funnel I need to heat up. Fortunately, I bought a fresh one, and what can I say? They're just so cheap and easy. So in goes our kilo of sugar. Ginger syrup. And I'm also going to add in our 300 grams of the dark treacle. This should, in theory, give it a bit of extra body, a bit of extra depth. And also, this is not going to finish dry, since some of these sugars are infermentable. In you go. Look at that beautiful dark goodness. Make it taste more like, I guess, a beer. So, I let this come up to nearly the boil because, well, anything that's bacterial is going to die around 80 degrees. And I've been leaving it to cool. So I have literally just scorched my funnel, my spoon. I sterilized the hydrometer. It doesn't do well if you try and boil it. My side has been sterilized using a bleach solution. So it's now a case of putting it all together, since our water container is already sterilized. If you're using a demijohn or you're reusing one of these, you're going to have to sterilize it. Use your sterilizer of choice. So, got my kettle. Why not? Don't want to waste the water. So I'm going to pour a full kettle's worth. I can always add more water to it. It's hard to take it out, considering we're going to be adding our tasty jus in. In it goes. And that's about a kettle's worth. Looking good. So now it should be just a simple case of adding this in. Now we're adding hot to cold, so it should level and sort itself out. Plastic does warp under extreme temperatures. So let's try and not burn myself with this napalm. Every time. I am so good at pouring stuff everywhere apart from where it's supposed to be. Right. Got it. Famous last words. So apart from the stuff I've spilt, which can't help myself. Oh, that's good. Sticky, very sweet. Right, I'm just going to clean this up. Be right back. Got it all over my face. So I've cleaned up, cleaned my face, because it tastes really good. It's got a nice ginger edge to it. It's got the lemon coming through. The addition of the treacle gives it extra depth and body. I mean, it doesn't taste too spicy, but I do eat a lot of ginger. So just bear that in mind when you're making this recipe, but it is for a purpose. To be fair, I would have added more, but last few times I added quite a lot of ginger in, and people didn't really, people were saying that's a lot of ginger, so I dialed it back. Personally, I would have added a lot more. But this is what we got. So before we shake this up, we're going to add in our yeast nutrient, because we're going to have to shake it anyway. Mix all the sugars, so we get a half decent reading. So just 1 nice teaspoon, doesn't matter if it's rounded or flat, of yeast nutrient. In you go. Oh, it smells really good. The lemon and the treacle mixed together. Fantastic. And it isn't too hot. I mean, it's a little bit sticky, but I can clean that when I'm done. So let's give this a nice shake. Ooh. That's bubbly. So I'm just going to give this a couple of minutes just to die down, and we'll be right back. So while I was waiting for that, I cleaned this up because it was sticky, and it's sticky bad. So let's pop a hydrometer in and let's see what we've got. So I'm going to guess 13–14%. That's what it's going to read in the hydrometer. Guessing. Yeah, it's gonna jinx me. Ooh, what we got? So according to this hydrometer, it is approximately 14.5%. So let's read the old hydrometer. 14.5 is roughly there. So it is approximately 1.090, which is pretty good. I know that some people would be like, oh, that's not the case. The hydrometer reads to 990, not 1. But in our case, we are actually expecting this to finish somewhere around 1 because we added in our treacle, which has infermentable sugars in there. So, still tastes good. Tastes really good. So, all we've got to do now is pitch our yeast. And I do get asked quite a lot, like, how much yeast do you add in? Now, because I'm a lazy home brewer, I don't add in the full amount because normally they say to add at least 1 gram in. I add about half a gram. I don't have to really deal with needing to use blow-off tubes or anything like that. And the yeast I am using is a universal wine yeast. It doesn't matter what brand, they're all the same. It's just a neutral flavored yeast. So just pour a light sprinkling in the top. Oh, very nice. Stick our lid on, give it like 1/10 of a turn so it's just biting. And that's us done, guys. I mean, we have created, hopefully, ginger beer that is going to be nice and fragrant and it's going to be ready to drink in 1 month. So, I hope you join me for that because I like ginger beer and I'm going to enjoy drinking this. I know it's going to be awesome. So, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Don't forget to check out some of the other ones. Subscribe, share, rate, comment, you know, all those things YouTubers tell you to do. But more importantly, carry on homebrewing, guys. See you later. Can't lick the tabletop.